Welcome back to Bariatric Business Accelerator, the podcast created for busy practitioners who want to systematize, simplify, and accelerate the growth of their new or existing practice. I'm your host, Karol Clark, and today we're starting a brand new 3-part mini-series, much in relation to some of the work I do with private clients all the time and those in my membership, but it's called From Chaos to Systems. And I want to start with a question. Does this actually sound familiar to you? You come in on Monday morning, and before you've ever seen your first patient, someone in your team has a question that only you can answer. You've had a call off, and so you're short-staffed. Then there's a billing issue. Then a patient fell through the cracks after their consult, and nobody followed up. Then the person who handles all your social media for you needs something from you to post this week. And by noon, you're about exhausted, and you're already behind. You've seen some patients, but you've not really gotten anything else done. And you haven't done a thing that was actually on your plan for the day. If this resonates with you, and I hear it all the time, if it resonates just a little, then this series is for you. Because here's what I want to address right up front in this first part. The chaos in your practice is usually not because you're too busy. Plenty of busy practices run very smoothly. The chaos is often because your practice is running on memory, heroics, and hope instead of systems. And there's a significant difference between the two. So what does chaos actually look like? You probably say, I hear this, I get to experience this every day, Karol, but let me be specific about what a systems deficient practice looks like in real life, because it doesn't always feel dramatic from the inside. It looks like your front desk is handling patient calls differently depending on who picks up the phone, because there's no standard script or process in place, just whoever's working that day doing their best. It looks like patient follow-up happening when somebody remembers to do it, not because there's a workflow that ensures that it happens every single time for follow-up for new leads, for clinical issues, those sorts of things. It looks like you being the answer to every question that comes up because knowledge lives in your head, not in a documented process that your team can reference readily. And it looks like staff turnover hitting you harder than it should, because when someone leaves, they take everything they knew with them and you're starting over. And none of these things feel like a crisis on any given day, oftentimes, but together over time, they cost you patience, they cost you revenue, and they also cost you a significant amount of your own energy. It just starts to build up, and you know what that feels like, I'm sure. The real cost of running on heroics is what I'm calling it. The part that I really want you to hear is that a practice that runs on heroics, where things get done because someone always steps up, because you personally catch what falls through the cracks, or something like that, is not really a sustainable practice. It's a practice that depends entirely on those people never burning out, never leaving, and never having an off day. I worked with a practice that had a genuinely great care coordinator and office manager. Both of them knew everything, every patient, every follow-up, every referral relationship. These ladies were their system. And when one of them left for another job, the practice felt it for months. Not because she did anything wrong, but because nothing she knew was written down anywhere. It all walked out the door with her because it was in her brain. That's what running on heroics costs you, and it's entirely preventable. The question that changes everything is this, the diagnostic question I use with every practice I work with. If you or one of your key team members were out for 2 weeks, genuinely unavailable, what would break? If the honest answer is, well, almost everything, Karol, that tells you something important. It tells you that your practice is built around people rather than processes. And that's the thing we're going to fix in this series, or work towards fixing. In part 2, the next one, I'm going to walk you through the 3 systems that every weight loss practice needs to put in place first, the ones that will give you the most relief with the least amount of effort to build. And then in part 3, we're going to talk about something that trips up almost everybody, how to get your team to actually use the systems that are built and have them help build the systems with you, because building them is only half of the battle. But for right now, I just want you to sit with that question. If you or one of your key team members were out for 2 weeks and they were not accessible at all, what would break? Be honest with yourselves. Write it down if you can, because awareness as you know, is always the first step. And the fact that you're here listening to this tells me that you're already further along than you may think. So I'll see you in part 2, but in the meantime, sit with this question. And if you want to talk through anything together, reach out to me. And I love getting to talk to practices. I love working with them. I've had some great breakthroughs this week with a couple of practices, simple things that can make a huge difference. I had a couple practices this week that we've been talking about this for a while. I've been telling them that they have to make sure that it was a billing issue. The copays weren't really being collected on a systematic basis. And some of them, at least a couple of the practices, not at all. And we worked, set up some KPIs, we put everything into place, and it has made a huge difference. I know that sounds simple and you think, why weren't there copays being collected? But it's little things like this that we discover that are going on in practices that when one little thing is fixed, it makes a huge difference, whether it's financially or from a patient referral perspective or something like that. It can make a huge difference, and then it gives you the momentum to tackle the next thing that's keeping you up at night. But setting these systems in place that we're going to talk about this over the series is really a game changer for so many practices. So I look forward to sharing that with you. And for those that I've worked with directly, I love doing this work with you. So anyhow, take care, and I'll see you in session 2.